Hello guys, CHM here, and welcome to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. In this episode, we'll be creating a moon base. The full creation of the moon base won't be in this episode. There'll be another episode up probably tomorrow, where I complete the moon base. Because if I didn't do it that way, this video would be really long. So anyways, first thing we're launching is the core of the space station, not the space station, but the moon base. So the core basically has a bunch of docking ports on it, and each module for the moon base will be on wheels, so I can drive them over to each other, and so it can be modular, and I can customize it any way I want, depending on future missions. Alright, so we get rid of our shroud. There we go. Get a nice view of that core. See, pretty simple. But one thing I did manage to mess up was those engine placements on the sky crane, which is the thing on the top right there. It's hard to see, but those engines are actually blocked by the docking ports below them, so I can't get any thrust out of them unless it overheats the docking port and blows it up, which I don't want. So you'll see in a couple minutes the difficulties I ran into with this on trying to get this land. But here we are, fine-tuning our maneuvers. Just making sure I'm on the maneuver node. And now it's time to boost ourselves over to the moon. Don't worry about that explosion. So there we go. Just gotta fine tune our approach, and I can head on out. So now I was going to circularize the orbit. So here we are, starting our burn. So I'm going to use the targeting system to create my to make the base kind of be placed below the orbit of the moon station, so craft from the base and the moon station can travel in between easier. Now here I'm just gonna scan for ore and figure out a landing location for the moon base, which I decided to pick this crater. So I'm just gonna fix the inclination once more. And then once we get this maneuver completed, we will then begin our descent and land where our moon base is gonna be. So setting up our approach here. This is how I like to do my moon landings. I like to put a 10-kilometer orbit around the moon, and then once I find a location, set like a 5-kilometer or 6-kilometer periapsis around the area of the desired landing location. So here we are, just fast forwarding until a point where I decide to complete the deorbit and head in for the landing. And I decided to do it basically last second. And prepare for a epic fail montage in a second. See, as you can see here, I didn't realize I misplaced the rockets until I was landing. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. I was like, okay, I gotta figure out a way to fix this. And here is what happened. Alright, so finally after all those attempts out of the way, I do eventually get this thing to land somewhat successfully. I did manage to break a docking port on the bottom, but that docking port doesn't really matter since nothing can really dock to it. But hey, most of it's still intact. So let's just make sure everything's working properly, and let's get rid of the sky crane. It's crashed into the ground, and here we are with our second launch, the NBA power module, or the Moonbase Alpha power module. So as this thing is named, it is the the solar panels and all the batteries that we need to power the station. This Moonbase consists of about 8 launches, including the shuttlecraft to bring all the crew to the station. Or not the station, the moon base. But anyways, here we are, just doing our gravity turn, picking up speed, getting some fire there. Put my Apple apps just a bit higher than I wanted, but should do fine. And you go take a nice look at that power station. And this time I did fix the sky crate. See, the engines are pointed more outwards, so it doesn't, so nothing below it interferes with its capabilities to thrust. Let's just create our node here and begin our burn. Don't worry about the explosion once again. Fine tune it. Basically, everything's about the same every time I launch this. Craft might be slightly different, like the launcher and stuff, and the payload, of course, but besides that, it's pretty standard stuff. So once again, circleize the orbit. Once more, fix your inclination to match the moon station. Now I'm going to set up the landing here, the maneuver mode. Not mode, node. I like how, like, whenever you go to land at this moon base, how you fly over that little canyon there. It's a nice scenic view. Anyways, here we are burning. continue to burn so we can land near the station. And as you can see, this time, Sky Crane worked. I really should have tested that the first time. But hey, at least got a funny little montage out of it. The girl landed pretty close to it. I'm just gonna pilot the Sky Crane into the ground and start spinning high stuff. It's like, what the heck? Just let it spin. There we go. Ooh. It's very touchy, these rovers on the moon. If you try turning too fast, it can be a problem, as you can see. Because I'm not putting any SAS modules on this because I don't want to avoid some glitchiness with the station and I avoid lag from the station. Plus, braking is really, really slow for these things. See, I'm trying to turn this thing and it keeps doing that. Does a lot less with SAS enabled, but anyways, I'm just gonna find a place to move the station to, and orientate it the right way so I can get some sun to shine on these panels correctly. There we go. Take a look at that. Here we are. Now we're going to launch the mining module for the moon base, so we can mine ore and make it into fuel. You might be wondering, what does this mean for the moon miner? I've already landed on the moon. I am still going to use that to refuel the moon station. It's just that this particular miner and converter on the moon base will be used to refuel craft that land at the station. Not the station, but the base itself. And it won't be used to refuel the moon orbiting station like the miner that's already on the moon. Set up our circularization or orbital insertion burn, whatever you want to call it. Pretty standard stuff. Let me can you guys just let me know if you want me to cut all these launches out in longer videos like this, because launches are basically the same for each of these. So let me know what you want to see. I'm just going to try to use as much fuel as I can in that main tank. There we go. Alright, here we go to the moon once more. Alright, heading in for our lunar insertion burn. Very, very standard. Once again, fix our inclination. Oh, did you see that? Look at all that debris and orbit around Kerbal over there. It's a lot of junk floating around. One of these days I'm going to have to clean all it up. And there it is once more, that little canyon that I like. I wish could have made it in there, but there's not really much ore in there. It's kind of a bit of a rough surface to land on. Anyways, here we go. Burning. Bringing ourselves down. This time, as you can see, I improved the sky crane with some arms sticking out. Instead of just angling the engines themselves. Fly away. This time I'm gonna go let it crash itself as I drive this thing over to the moon base. And there we go. So now I can start mining for ore, as the next module I'm sending up is the converter module, so I can make that ore into usable fuel. As you can see there, I'm moving my mouse around, circling an object on the ground, which you're going to see for pretty much a couple seconds, and that is the prototype moon base that I built on over by the runway to make sure that everything works properly, including the lander docking system, which is just kind of funny, but actually very useful, and you'll see that in the next episode of Kerbal Space Program. But anyways, let's continue with this episode. So now let's get rid of this shroud so you can take a good old look at the converter, which is just basically two of the small converters, a bunch of batteries, and some radiators. Alright, so now I've got to put ourselves into an orbit. Fix the inclination once more. I was like, that's good enough. Wasn't the most efficient burn there, but it worked. As you can see, this launcher is a bit different because the 3.5 meter shroud just didn't want to fit the contents of the payload, so it had to go for a 5.25 meter shroud. I think that's the correct measurement. So it's used a Mach 3 to 2.5 meter converter as the fuel tank, which actually works pretty well. It has basically the same amount of fuel as the other version of this launcher. I just think it's a bit heavier. I think I should have a little bit more fuel also. But anyways, here we are, getting ourselves into orbit. And I'm gonna fix our inclination again. There's a lot of that. There we go. Set up once more a landing. Let's take a look at the debris flying around. I need to get rid of once again. Slowly heading down. I remember how landing on the moon once was when I first started playing this game. It was very hard. Not because it was harder back then when I played, it wasn't much harder. But the fact that I just kind of sucked at the game, and I still kind of do. But let's see how much better now, I guess. Anyways, here we are touching down and getting rid of another sky crane. So here we are, just driving our converter over to the moon base. And once it docked, that'll be the end of this episode of Kerbal Space Program. Be on the lookout. Episode 6 will be out very shortly. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.